54th presidential election took place on November 7th, 2000. As Bill Clinton left office, the economy was strong and the dot-com bubble was carrying us to the future. And crime and inflation were way low, and with all the success, Clinton named his vice president Al Gore as his successor, and he was pretty much the clear choice because no Democrats chose to run. So it was pretty much Gore as the Democratic nominee and his running mate Joe Lieberman, the first Jewish running mate in a presidential ticket. But there was one man who wanted revenge for his father, a little someone called George W. Bush, the governor of Texas. He was the son of George H.W. Bush, and when he lost his election, Bush was mad. He wanted revenge. I mean, not in a diss track rapper way, but more of a political way. He won his first election by defeating the incumbent governor, and he was very popular as governor, with his education and crime stance and his ability to work with both parties, which is kind of based. But going into the Republican primaries, it was mainly two opponents. Alan Keyes, a former diplomat under the Reagan administration, and John McCain, a senator from Arizona. But one thing that Keyes did was pretty cool, was jumping into a mosh pit, which is pretty based, honestly. But he was in third behind McCain and Bush. So Bush was easily the nominee for the Republicans, and he picked Dick Cheney, the former Secretary of Defense. And so it was Bush v. Gore. So Bush's platform was pretty simple: investing in education, cutting taxes, and maintaining a strong national defense, while Gore focused on keeping the economy strong and investing into science and healthcare and stopping climate change. Now, Gore had the advantage of being the establishment. Everybody knew him because him and Clinton created a good economy. But Gore couldn't really run on any of that stuff without running into the Lewinsky scandal. Long story short, Bill Clinton was doing some very naughty stuff with an intern, which Gore didn't really have Clinton help him, which hurt him a lot in the polls. And Bush was very happy to take advantage of, because Bush framed himself as leadership that you can trust. Like, for example, when Bush was talking about a family in Pennsylvania, Gore was just laughing about it like he was just being an asshole.
Pennsylvania. I campaigned with him the other day.
But Bush had his flaws too. Well, in the debates, he didn't really know that much about foreign policy, and this was pretty ominous for the time.
Hope to be able to convince people I could handle the Iraqi situation better.
Oh, that, dear viewer, is called foreshadowing. Just before election week, Bush managed to get a 5-point lead. It looks like he was finally going to pull this off, but a reporter managed to receive a old drunk driving accident Bush had gotten in the past, which his lead was destroyed. Now, this was more contested than a 7-year-old waiting for an iPad. And, well, it only came down to one state, Florida. Whoever won that state won the presidency. So let's see who wins. Drum roll, please. Al Gore wins 292 electoral votes, and Bush wins 246 electoral. Wait, hold on. Wait, Bush went. Wait, whoa. Crap. Yeah, Florida, they weren't even done counting their ballots. And it looks like Bush was gonna win, so Gore called him to succeed the race. So it looks like Bush was gonna win. White? Well, no, not really. Because more votes came in. As more ballots came in, the race in Florida was getting tighter and tighter, and it looked like Florida was going into the undecided category. So both Bush and Gore's team filed lawsuits that reached the Supreme Court, which they would hold the infamous case of Bush v. Gore. The major argument in the court case was the ballots themselves in Florida. Like in Palm Beach, look at this! Look! You had to vote through the middle, which why was Pat Buchanan put in second place? I know, he's back. So the Supreme Court ordered a mandatory recount of close county areas, and well, a lot of those places didn't count them the same way, and when the deadline was met, it showed that Bush was up by one little point. With that, Bush would go on to win by 271 electoral votes, while Gore got 267 electoral votes. But Gore would go on to win the popular vote with 48.4% of the popular vote, while Bush won 47.9% of the popular vote. George Bush won, becoming the 43rd President of the United States. Amongst Americans, there was a popular phrase at the time that the end of history had arrived, that the US had won the 20th century by beating Nazi Germany and then the Soviet Union in 1991, that America would go on to lead the 21st century with wonderful liberal democracies around the world. But that American dream will come crashing down in 9 months and 11 days.